It's Monday, July 15th, 2013, and we're all here. At least if you're watching this video, we're all here. Which means the world did not come to an end 14 years ago, as some people thought it would. I'm not going to say who those people were, me and Jason Feinberg, but it was definitely some people, and it was based on a prediction that Nostradamus had about the end of the world. I feel like there's a cat coming up here. Yes, Nostradamus, famed, inaccurate predictor of things that would happen in the future. There's a videotape that we came across when we were like 16 or 17. It was in my house because I think my mom's old video distribution company was the distributor of this video. And anyway, watched it and guessed the target date for the end of the world was July 15th, 1999. And that seemed to fit in with other things that had happened in our lives. And it made sense to just connect dots that really had nothing to do with each other. Anything related to the numbers 1 and 5. And created kind of this philosophy that I believe was eventually called the 5-1 Doctrine. Those of you who are old enough to remember and who were around at the time might recall 5-1 Magazine, which was a zine that I published from about 95 to 99 or 2000. It was really just a kind of general alternative culture thing covering like music and poetry and bands and clubs and blah, 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 blah. But the kind of ethos behind it was to change the world by bringing different people and styles and classes and races and religions together. Because that was my mission, because I had a mission. Because I wasn't satisfied with believing that the world as we know it was going to come to an end on July 15th, 1999. I had to try to do something to change it. And of course, the way that you change it is to start a zine and a website. So I had this really strange fascination with the apocalypse and the end of the world when I was younger and going into my 20s. Even though I don't have any sort of like religious upbringing or background that like would lead me to believe in such things, it wasn't like the Jesus rapture apocalypse. It was the planet is going to reassert control of itself after getting tired of people jacking it up for hundreds of thousands of years, right? So on July 15th, some sort of catastrophic world event, you know, whatever it might be, a combination of tsunamis and dust storms and avalanches and volcanoes, I don't know, whatever. You know, I mean, kind of the stuff that's in the Bible too would happen, and that only a few would survive. But like instead of in the Bible where it's a bunch of people going and getting sucked up to heaven, and those are the good people, and the people that are left behind are the bad people, it was the other way around. Basically, a bunch of people would die, and not that they were bad people, but they were just people or whatever. And then the people that were left over would be the Inhumans. Because the humans were the people that were jacking up everything. And the Inhumans were the enlightened people who would bring a new era of prosperity and peace and blah, 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 blah to the planet after this catastrophic event. The people that were left would be the Inhumans. And of course, being the megalomaniacal kind of guy I am, with an inflated sense of self-worth, I figured I'd be the Messiah for this whole Inhuman thing. A lot of these concepts were drawn from like all over the place. You know, whatever very vague Bible awareness I had, because I had no, like I said, any sort of religious upbringing or training. There was a video that was at some sort of video jam that the Committee for Public Safety was putting on at Cafe Copio that I drew, I think, the human stuff from. A lot of the 5-1 stuff came from a combination of the fact that of the Nostradamus end of world date, the Doors song 5-1, the date that Jason and I, on a really weird friggin' night that I'll have to tell you about in a different video, discovered a domino that had 5 up top and 1 below. I think the 5 was supposed to mean the humans, ratio-wise, and the 1 was the Inhumans. And I think this went back to something that I drew from somewhere else too. Anyway, I put all this stuff into a blender, came up with this thing, thought that it was going to be a thing, and of course, it wasn't a thing. And as I approached 1999, that came clear, but I didn't stop being fascinated with end-of-the-world stuff, no. that was my life for a while. Like every decision I made was based on this crazy phi 1 doctrine theory thing. There are worse things to do than live your life by a doctrine that encourages people to live a more sustainable and joyful life, and be good to others, in hopes that, we are the humans who transcend the bad crap that's going to happen. But still, it was kind of crazy. That's why I mostly kept it to myself, except, in the pages of the friggin' zine that I distributed all around the city and around the country by mail, and eventually on the internet by internet tubes, whatever it is that powers the internet. That's my end of the world story. Part 1. There's got to be a part 2. We'll talk more about that. Let me know if you have any weird questions, and I'll give you weird answers. That's it for now. We'll continue with part 2 some other time, because there's got to be a part 2. I can't fit this all in one video, and this thing's already running way too long. So I'll talk to you guys later. Be good to each other, and let's make it past the end of the world together.